So we are getting a patch soon, but let me make sure it's not out yet. This is 74? Yeah, okay. Why can't I pause? I can't low parry either. You know what that means? Well, meth is incredibly destructive, and fighting games are not, usually. So, fighting games. That button. Nope. Yes. Why didn't it work then? Okay. What character should I pick? I can play Hina now that I have a stick. I can actually do this move now. So if you land a parry, you get stuff. You get this. Oops. Or this. You know, you can just kind of do this. That works. Sometimes. This is the bad combo. Don't do that one. I need my notes. Hmm. Yeah, I do have 5 fewer frames. It's probably not possible then. So I would do like that's the old combo. She always had that. But she did get a new combo this patch. Which is this guy. Oops. I got more. Come on. Also, that's full corner carry. It does more damage and it's full corner carry. It's just the first part's kind of hard to delay that. Yeah, it's much less. You still have to do just one of these off of lights, but if you get it off of heavies, you're good. There we go. It's not really my style, though. She's just like, I'm gonna stand right here and sometimes do this. And sometimes do this. And guess what? You can't parry both of those the same way. And they're both safe. Except if you pick Juzumaru. Then they're not safe. Shimo is also pretty bad. Because she's, like... She's supposed to be an offensive character with bad defense. That's what she's supposed to be. But she ends up just being bad at both. Because... Shimo. She has one special move on the ground, and it's not invincible on any version, so she has no DP. She has a super that's invincible, but they're both obviously very punishable if blocked. I'll probably play Guilty Gear Strive if they ever update the frame data mod, but right now, no. I don't plan to. So she's bad defense because her backdash is bad and she has no DP. This is invincible but not on frame 1 because you have to run first. And her zoning isn't very good either. Like she has... Oops. She technically has Hina stuff, but not really. She has her crouch heavy kick. It doesn't go nearly as far, and she doesn't have back heavy kick at all. It's just stand heavy kick, which is not even cancelable. Oh, it is cancelable. That's pretty good. But her combos are less damaging, so it's not as good as Hina's. So you would think, well, okay, maybe she's a pressure-based offensive character. Not even that. Because you think of a character like Juzumaru, it's like, oh, he presses jab, jab, and then he hit confirms the crouch heavy punch, and they have to high parry the stand jab, or he can confirm with low. Low B, stand B for an easy one, or low B, then you can link his other lights for a combo like that. And that has to be low parried, so you can't just parry him on wake up every time, because you have to guess between the high and the low parry. And if you block the jab jab, he's +5. Shimo does not have any of that. She has one target combo, and the first hit is high parryable and low parryable. And she has nothing that's high parryable only, and is a hit confirm. This move is high parryable only, but it doesn't chain. This move is high parryable only, but it doesn't even cancel or chain. I mean, you can chain into it, but you can't just do it by itself. And she's this new move, which is only +1 on hit. So you can't combo off of that. No matter how much you try. So you can super cancel it. It also looks like an overhead, but it's not an overhead. And that's it. She has the real overhead. Oh, well, there's also this. This is her one saving grace is this move is cancelable. And it's high parry only. But on block, it's only +2 and you're way over here. So it's like, once they block this a single time, you don't get pressure anymore. It's not like Juzumaro, where he's +5 in range of Crouch Heavy Punch, which cancels the Rekka, and then he can confirm the Rekka. It's like, she just doesn't have that. At all. Not to mention, Juzumaro has an uppercut, so he's better on offense and defense. The only thing that she has better over Juzumaro is she can combo off of her overhead against a standing opponent, but it's very hard. It's not 1 frame. It's +5 into a 5 frame. Yeah. She's exactly 1 combo. And it's overhead into crouch light punch. It's a 1 frame link. It's -1 on hit, so you have to cancel it, but guess what? It's not cancelable. Unless you super. So good luck with that. You're not allowed to hit confirm your 1 frame link. You just have to do the 1 frame link first try, and if you're wrong, you waste meter and you're punishable. Guaranteed. Because why not? Also, her throw is not a hard knockdown. Because why would it be? Yeah. So she's bad on defense, she's bad on offense. Surely she's good at something. And you might look at this move and be like, maybe this move. You know? Maybe I get a knockdown, I do a jump like this, and then I cross him up. Well, except this game has parries, and parries ignore cross-ups. So maybe they don't parry. You know? Because they have the high parry. Actually, is it a high parry? Yeah. Yeah, they do have the high parry this. And on a good note, it is plus on block if you do it really low. It's +9 at best on block. But if you're too late, she does lands and you don't get anything. So this is kind of a mix-up because you can do a regular jump in, and they have to do an early high parry to survive. Well, not to survive that, but to, you know, not be minus a billion on block. They parry it. And it is, you can cancel it. Although, depending on your height, you're not going to get anything. Right, so there is a mix-up there. Although, if they parry the first hit, they can just hit you out of the second hit right there. Or you can go straight into it for the delayed high parry. Although the delay isn't that big. Like, the delay between jump D and quarterback C is 4 frames. So it's possible to just parry both of them with 1 parry. So that's fine. You'll need to either do, like, you need to mix up the timing of your jump in. Or you can do empty jump low. And that's nice. So she does have more mix-up options there than you would think. Or, let's say, she has fewer mix-up options there than you would think, but she has more than the average character. Like the generic character with no Shinko ends on. But it's not as strong as you would think at first glance. Because it's not... This move isn't delayed enough for it to, like, be a mix-up with the parry. And the EX version is the same speed as the heavy version, so. Also, after all of these, you can't do a combo without supering. So, like, I can't do this. But I can do this. Unless I hit with 1 hit of the EX version, which is extremely difficult to do. Like that. Then I get a combo. But theoretically, you can do it like that. And then if you do it like that, it's not even a cross-up, so depends on the distance. Yeah, the EX one doesn't go as far as the heavy one. Yeah, the heavy one is basically always a cross-up if you're like anywhere near the opponent, but the EX one is not. Well, that barely worked. I did not. Whereas it would with the heavy. Yeah. So like you can get annoying with this, but it's never like a good. You never get good damage from it. They do rise up into you, so you will get like immediate pressure, but you're not gonna get like a safe jump. It doesn't really make sense. Maybe you can. If I do this, like a 3, it doesn't really work. Yeah, there's no. You can try. Also, if you tag or knee these, it doesn't work the way you want it to. Of course. And no, this is not an overhead. No, it is an overhead. This is an overhead. So theoretically, you can try to do some instant overheads. Not against this character. Yeah, she doesn't have any overheads. It doesn't work that way. That's a pretty fast overhead. Is it overhead? I think it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. But it's not cancelable. And you're minus on hit, so good luck with that. It has horrible range. Yeah, you're minus 5. Minus 7. Minus 6. Minus 8. If you delay it, it's better, but it's more reactable. Yeah, she has so much crap in her move list, it doesn't do anything useful. With Juzumaru, it's like... I didn't even look at her combos. She just has some combos. She just have some combos. But not off of her lights, which is the problem. She doesn't have a way to hit confirm off of heavies, except by hit confirming from one hit. Which you can do. Random. But it's kind of sus. Theoretically, this is +2. Theoretically, this is +2 on block. Theoretically. But you're not going to be able to hit confirm it and do a +2. What you could do is just do that every time. You're +5, then link and jab again. But that doesn't feel very strong either. See, it's not a combo. Oop. You can't get better than +5, and here only 5 frame move is this. So really, you don't get much from the hit confirm, unless you're insane. There I lost 4 frames by confirming the block, so I'm -2. And if I'm confirming the hit, that doesn't work. Which is what you want. You want this. And you get a safe jump. Or you can go for the damage. You don't really get a good safe jump there, they can DP that. Or you can try a super jump. That works. But you're guaranteed to cross up in that case. You don't get the mix up. Or you can spend meter. And you can spend meter. Yeah, that's the problem, is you spend meter regardless. That being said, if you do spend the meter, you're insanely plus. You can do whatever you want. It is possible to do this. That is a combo. But it's really hard. So this is what? 10? Yeah, +10 at best, so... And 5 Ds and 9 frames, so it's technically a 2-frame link. Theoretically, you could do that, although I wouldn't recommend it. It's good damage. It is good damage, but it requires meter. If you want to spend meter, what you want to do is you want to do this. That move that launches. And the problem with her juggles is that all her moves have high juggle costs, so you can't like get multiple hits. It's just not possible. Oops. And it's really hard too, because why not? There it is. Oh. There it is. Or, you know, you could do this. Which, yay, it does more damage. Yay. Love that. So her combo is literally normal, special, super. And that's her optimal combo. So, okay. Her defense sucks. She has no DP. Her backdash is bad. She has no 4-frame normal to, like, mash out. And her only 5-frame normal is not chainable or cancelable into specials. Okay. Her neutral game is pretty bad. Like, this is the best move she has, and it doesn't even hit from, like, a round start or anything close to it. Like, this is literally the character. And then sometimes you do this. And you can, like, try to hit confirm that into a super if you wanted to. By the way, this super has a sweet spot for more damage, but it's like impossible to hit. She normally says the name of the move, Kantan Enzon. But if you get the very tip of the move, it does more damage. Not that much damage. And it's extremely precise. You're never going to actually land it in a match. Yeah, there's no, you can't. Yeah, none of her normals can cancel into the power-up super. Yeah, it doesn't work. Maybe this one? It looks like they made it specifically programmed to where that's not possible. Yeah. What about this one? Oh, that doesn't work. What about this one? Nope. And that's all her moves, by the way. She has 2 special moves. She's 1 on the ground and 1 in the air. And that's it. That's all her moves. She does have some weird aerial command normals, but they don't do anything. Nothing useful. This is a very easy to use combo tool, but it's not very high damage. And they buffed its damage. And it's still not very high damage. So this character ends up just being like poke with this, and then if you're close, you can hit confirm into something. What is this on? Zero. Yeah. She just sucks. Hello, Freestyle Fletcher. And like, compare all that to Juzumaru. It's like, okay, if I want a high parry only, I do this. That's plus 12 on hit, so I get to do, you know, this, which is more damage than she gets off of like anything already. Is that Zoro? No, there's no sword. And he's not wearing a mask. And if I'm in the corner, I get more, by the way. Oh, I dropped it. I dropped it again. There we go. And if I want a low parry, I have a, you know, crouch light kick. But here's the thing. I get... Well, it doesn't work against her. It's interesting. I see. Against smaller characters, it's pretty bad, but he still gets this. Let's see. Let's see. How old is this game? It came out this year. Yes, I'm playing on Steam. It is called Yatagarasu Enter the Eastward. There you go. There's a free update coming soon. They're adding a new character, but it's like a reskin of that character in the corner. They'll probably play differently. Zoro without swords. So not Zoro. Also, he doesn't have a mask. Also, he's shirtless. Also, he's not wearing shoes. Huh. How fast is that? Theoretically, it would work. I think. Oh! Wait a second. Or something like that. So it'll be, instead of that, you do Yeah. Yeah. Try this. Hey, shoo! Am I waiting for somebody? No. If you want to play, just let me know. But this is really hard. Woo! I did it with jab. got 18949. Jab is 5 frames. Light kick would be 1 frame slower. Let's see if it's possible. That'll be interesting. This should be possible with 1 Rekka. Yeah. 188. It's less damage if you do it that way though. You want the Rekkas over the switching from light punch to light kick. Wait. But can I do this? Come on. surely you can't do this. Switch to Wugui. Probably be easier. Wow, okay. Is this game more like KOF or Street Fighter? It's more like Third Strike. Although the developers of this game used to work for SNK, so they used to make KOF games. It's like, what if Street Fighter 3 Third Strike had button parries instead of tap to parry, tap forward to parry, and it had a hop. But only one hop. Yes, this game has parries. So, right here. That's a parry indicator. So if I press high parry, that button lights up. If I press low parry, that button lights up. I can press both of them. They both light up. My character doesn't do anything. But they both light up. And if I parry something, I'll probably get a punish of some kind. Not always. Yes, there are two buttons. You can see below me, I'm pressing two buttons. You have the S and K attack buttons, the A, B, C, D, and you have two parry buttons. And so anything that must be blocked low must also be parried low. Anything that must be blocked high must also be parried high. And anything that can be blocked high or low is high parryable, but whether or not it's low parryable depends on the move. Most crouching normals will be high and low parryable, and something like this, like a stand jab from Juzumaro, can only be high parried. You can't low parry it, so that depends. But everything else is predictable. Also, yes, you have a high parry button and low parry button. And over on the right you see it says U and L. I don't know why. Like up and low? I don't know. I don't know how that works. But that's how it works. And the throw window by default is 10 frames, so it's basically the same as Third Strike, in that it's hard if you don't know when it's coming, or it's easy if you do know when it's coming. Also, depending on the direction you hold, the window will change. So this doesn't exist in Third Strike because you have to tap forward to parry. But in this game, it's 10 frames by default. But if you walk forward and do a high parry, it gets extended by 3 frames, so it's 13 frames. Or if you crouch block and high parry, it gets reduced by 3 frames, so it's a 7-frame window. And in either case, there's a 22-frame window where you can't parry again. So if I do this, it looks like I'm parrying over and over again, but I'm not. Like if he does this, I can't actually parry anything. It doesn't work. I had to actually time it right. And if you get hit during your parry recovery window, then you get BL countered. So let's say I do a low parry. Hear the announcer say BL counter. If you get BL countered, that move gets +8 on hit advantage. So if I just set him to counter, this move is suddenly +13 on hit. It used to be +4 on hit, now it's +13, or +5 on hit, now it's +13 on hit. And that extends into later hits of the combo at a reduced rate. So this is normally +12 on hit. This character's top tier for a reason, but now it's +16 on hit. So it goes +8 for the hit that caused the BL counter, then it goes +4, then it goes +2, then it goes +1, and then it's back to normal again. So you can do crazy combos like this. There we go. So you get some pretty crazy combos. Yeah. And you can't parry throws, obviously. Although this character has a parry specifically for throws. That will parry throws. But he's a unique case. And let's see. And if you are in the air, if you're in the air and I get a BL counter, yeah, you get very big juggle combo, big damage. Yeah, this character is a weird character. He has this move, which parries high, like anything that can be high parried, this move will parry. This move will parry anything that can be low parried. And this move will parry throws. And this move, not that one. This move will parry anything that can be parried normally by other characters. And yeah, he looks like Slayer. He's a vampire butler, so he looks like Slayer. But he plays nothing like Slayer, because he has a bunch of parries and Slayer does not. He does have a command grab, I guess. So that's similar. But it's very slow, it's not like Slayer's. How did I get that? Oh, cause he, yeah. Wow, he gets 3,000 extra damage just because they're crouching. Holy moly. Anyway. Oh my goose. Any matches? Nope. I think that is possible though, barely. Cool. Oh dear. That's actually a sick combo. No way it works on like other characters though. There we go. It is technically more damage. For just doing that. For that. Woo! Okay. Marking that one down. Poor Wiggly, does it work against other characters? Well, that's weird. Really? Okay. I don't think it works on Chado. What about Aja? Maybe. It does work. Let's try Hanzo. No. No. Why would I get this to work on Chada? Because that feels like it should work. If I just do it right. What? Alright, let's think about some BL counter stuff. There's a lot of things that can optimize if I happen to get a BL counter. Let's say that's a BL counter. I guess I'll just do that. 3 plus 5. What's working? The combo you've been doing for 2 centuries? I'm not focused on the end of the combo anymore. I'm focused on the beginning of the combo. And Chada is strange, because if I do this, I'm not in range of close heavy punch anymore. And the goal I was trying to do was, so this, it does work on Aja and Wugui, so let's pick Aja. The combo I was trying to do was to get an early hit of that move. If I hit late with it, you see I get plus 28. I get plus 28. Plus 28 if I hit it late like that. That works on every character. But on this character, I can get a plus 30 by doing it early. Because she's so tall, it'll actually hit before she falls below a certain height. And because I can get those 2 extra frames, normally I get my 5-frame stand light punch, but against Aja, it is possible to get a 7-frame attack, because that's 2 frames slower, but I can hit her earlier so I get 2 extra frames. And that unlocks this combo. I can't even do it. There it is. I get that combo for more damage. Chada, you wouldn't believe it, but Chada is not as tall as Aja. Despite what it looks like. He's not as tall. Whoops, I picked... That's not how you do that. Chada's not as tall as Aja. I can't... Although he is very fat. And because he is very fat, let me get this. Because he is very fat, this combo is harder because I'm too far. I get this move instead of this move, which is what I want. So I do need to do an extra little micro walk in between there, which makes it a lot harder. And even if I get the micro walk, it doesn't look like the plus 30 is possible. See? I can get the plus 28. I can get the plus 28. Plus 28. But I can't get the plus 30. He's actually not tall enough. He's too thin. He's too tiny. His hurt box is not low enough to actually connect with, or to allow my Rekka to connect with him. At that timing. He doesn't work. And that opens up other possibilities as well that I should attempt to discover. This game came out this year, by the way. This game's like 2 months old. Although it looked like this 10 years ago. So I guess that's something. So let's try something else. Is it all the hurt box's fault? Yeah. Like, okay, let me word it this way. Every character has a point on the screen somewhere that's invisible, but it determines like where they are. So like internally there is a float value. I can actually show it to you right now. Here. Let me turn off this. These numbers right here. Sorry, these numbers right here. Those two. Those values right there. They'll move when I move. See? And if I jump, the other one will go up and down. If I jump diagonally, they both go. So one of them is my character's horizontal position, and one of them is my character's vertical position. And so there's some value in the game that has this value saved into it. Like there's a variable in memory. I don't know what they called it. There's no way to know what they called it, but I know where it is. It's right there. It is some pointer pointing to that address in memory. And in that address in memory is this value. And the game is interpreting that value as my character's X position. So the one I'm focused on is the Y position. Because the problem is the opponent's height during the combo. I don't have the value set up to show the opponent's height, but there's a value in the game somewhere that is the opponent's height. And the way the game works is that there's a floor height. You saw it was 922 is the floor height. So let's just say there's a floor height right there. Let's say that is the floor height. 922. Whenever the opponent's character's Y position hits the floor height or lower on a frame, they tech roll and the combo's over. So let's say during the combo, I launch them up a little bit. So their point is right here. Boop. See a little tiny point right there? Let's say that's where they are. I'll make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. Let's say they're right here. Let's say that's where they are, right? So there's some distance between them and the floor. And every character's gravity is the same. So every character will end up falling at the same speed, right? So it doesn't matter what character it is. If I hit them at this height, when their character is at this height, it will always take the exact same amount of time for them to hit the floor, which means that I have the exact same amount of time to combo them. But here's the problem with that. If they're here, their point is not what determines whether or not I hit them with the move. There's a hurt box on the screen. Like, if I hit them in the point, that's not what matters. There's a hurt box. So let's say there's a character that's relatively thin, like this, and I do a hitbox move, like a move with a hitbox that only hits here, right? If this is my hitbox, and this is their hurt box, and it doesn't overlap, it won't combo. I have to do a different move, or I have to wait for them to fall more in order for it to do an actual combo. But there might be a different character that's a little bit wider. Maybe they go down like this. And in this case, I can do the exact same move. My opponent is at the exact same height, and I'm doing the exact same move at the exact same time, but because their hurt box reaches further below their point, I'm actually allowed to hit them at that height. Whereas if a different character were at the exact same height, it wouldn't have worked. And as I said earlier, what determines the amount of time I have to combo them depends on their height. On the height of the point. It's not the height of the hurt box. Like, if they're a hurt box, like say their point is right here, and their hurt box actually goes below the floor. That doesn't matter. It's the point. When the point hits the floor, the combo's over. If their hurt box hits the floor, it doesn't matter, but the hurt box is what determines what combos are possible. So that is why this combo only works on certain characters. Specifically, characters whose point is up here and their hurt box is a certain minimum distance below it, while being juggled. Oh, really? Yes. For some reason, the big giant grappler character has a smaller hurt box than Aja. And I can't explain why. That is how the game is programmed. I can try it on other characters too. Let's try this character. That looks reasonable. Yeah, not you. Surely the tiniest character in the game doesn't have a bigger hurt box. Surely the tiniest character in the game. That looks correct. Wow, this might just be impossible. Straight up impossible. Okay, there we go. Ooh, against Sistan, you can get a 29. Interesting. That means I get my 6 frame normal, which is not as good as the 7 frame normal, but it's still better than the 5 frame. I mean, I'll keep trying. That's why when I watch some combo videos, they say the combo only works in certain... Well, that could be a reason, yes. In this case, that is the reason. There could also be other reasons. For example, let's see. So in some games, different characters will actually fall at different speeds. Just straight up. Like Guilty Gear XX. In Guilty Gear XX, characters just literally fall at different rates. Like the speed at which they fall is different. That's not the case in this game. Also, there are some games like Street Fighter 4 where it is based on your hurt box when you hit the floor. So, for example, Akuma in Street Fighter 4 can do light Tatsu and then sweep. And that barely works against, like, about half the cast. But it barely does not work against the other half the cast because they hit the floor too early because their hurt box is too large. Things like that. There's also like distance between the characters. Like you saw against Chada, he actually is so wide he pushes me. His collision box, not his hurt box, his collision box is bigger than everyone else's. So I was actually too far to get close heavy punch after a specific combo route. So that's that too. What else? Like there's so many different tiny factors that go into what makes a combo work or not, that it'll, like, there's several ways for a combo to only work on certain characters and not others. The main ones are, like, number one is hurt box size during combos, which is what I showed earlier. But that can also work in, like, the horizontal direction, especially for mid-screen combos. Number two is collision size while they're on the ground. This is a huge problem in Street Fighter 4. Like, in Street Fighter 4, it was like, oh, I play Yun. Can I get 3 crouch medium punches and then do my combo, or do I only get 2? There are certain combos that only work on certain characters because of their collision width. And then number 3 would be, like, game-specific stuff, like gravity scaling, based on the character. So you have hurt boxes, collisions, and gravity, which can all change based on the opponent's character. I'm not aware of a game that has a hitbox difference based on the opponent's character. Like, there's no way, like, your move will not have a different hitbox based on the character the opponent chose, most of the time. So what collision is it is the thing that prevents characters from, like, standing on top of each other. Like, if I move into her, she moves too. Like, if I move, she moves with me. That's the collision. Although it's not like 2 bricks pressing against each other. If I open this again, this one, watch that one, the 130. If I go and see how it's, like, not constant. Sometimes it's 129.5, sometimes it's 130. That's because, yeah, there's, like, most of the time this does not matter, but this is what people call sub-pixels. is internally the game has a very precise value, but like what you see on the screen depends. Like it might be different, even though on the screen it's the same. And in this case, it's like, well, depending on how I like, man, I don't even know how to explain this. To save up on like memory space, I guess, the way collision works is it doesn't literally let the characters press each other, like the two collision boxes, and then it sticks there. What it does is it lets you overlap, but then if you are overlapping, it shoves you away. So it usually will end up overcorrecting. Like it might be perfect to where they line up perfectly, like this, which is ideal. And if that happens every time, then theoretically there's no sub-pixel BS going on. But what usually ends up happening is it overshoots a little bit. So depending on how much your character moves in one frame, like for example, if I start over, at round start, I'm at position 490. So if I move left, it goes down. If I move right, it goes up. But at round start, I'm at 490. If I move for exactly... Oh, come on. If I move forward for exactly one frame, I move forward 5.5 pixels for one frame, right? But if I move into the corner, you can see it pushes me out. Oh, and there it switched. So depending on how much I walk, let's say that 129.5 is like the equivalent of it being perfect. But then me being at 130, I'm a little bit far away, so it pushed me out further. The way like the game has to calculate something, and it's not going to calculate like the edge and move you to the edge. I wish that was how it worked, but it's not how it works. Theoretically, there are ways to do it like that, but most of the time, it's not going to happen. Most of the time, you're going to get well, it pushes you back. It doesn't pull you back. Theoretically, it pushes both characters away from each other. Like I can land on top of her, and she gets moved a little bit. See that? But because she's in the corner here, she can't get pushed back anymore. Yeah, none of this stuff matters. Take all of what you learned today and just ignore it. If you just want to get good at the game, that doesn't matter. That's only for people who want to understand the game at like a technical level. To learn these things while playing or to make my game? Well, okay. I mean, I learned specifically all those things just now when trying to talk to you about it, but like I had heard of sub-pixel stuff from speedrunning. Like task video stuff. Stuff that's too precise for a human to pull off. And I just, because of my degree in software engineering, I guess, I was able to infer that it also existed in fighting games. Thankfully, I'm not aware of anything that actually matters in fighting games regarding subpixels. Although it is possible in this game. It is theoretically possible in this game for... Actually, no, I am aware. In Tekken 8, sometimes you can sidestep stuff, and sometimes you can't sidestep stuff, even if it looks like your characters are literally facing each other, they're walking toward each other. So Tekken 8 has that problem, and it's really bad. I might be able to make an input or like a frame data app for this game, but it's not. It's not my priority right now because it already has some frame data in it. It's got the hit advantage. Anyway, I wish. Well, I'm not getting any opponents. So if anyone in the chat wants to play, let me know. And if not, I might do something else. I wish. He doesn't have any way to get a strong juggle, does he? It's only BL counter. Huh. Let me just double check that. Nothing over here makes a strong juggle. Yeah, there's no S's in that whole thing, except for the super, but that doesn't count. The other super. Yeah, that doesn't even work. Wow. Yeah, no way of getting a juggle system activated from anything. Huh. That's interesting. I shouldn't mark that down. How much is this? 3,070? 3,080. So we're gonna do the B version. Why is that so much freaking damage? Nope. Nope. Yeah. Let's see. Let's focus on Crow.
Round 1. Fight!
Crow is not a very combo-friendly character. He just doesn't get anything. Like, you just do a basic string and a DP, basically. That's basically what happens. If they're standing, you can do some Tatsus. So you get these. And then you DP. And if there's a corner, you get extra. Yeah, one extra hit there. But yeah. If they're crouching, you just DP. And if you get a heavy normal, it's exactly the same story, you just DP. Or if they're standing, you can get light Tatsu, which is a little bit better of a juggle state than heavy Tatsu, so you get more stuff there. But it's exactly the same. You just do DP versus crouching opponents every time. He's another character who cannot get a strong juggle without air beetle counter. But if he does get the air beetle counter, you can really take advantage of it. Big damage. There we go. So if he can get that air beetle counter, he gets good stuff. Mid screen he can't do that, but he can do this. So he has very strong punishes. Like if he parries something, he just goes or this. That was very good. There we go. Big damage. That wasn't even the clean hit. Oops. Nope. There it is. Big damage increase if you get the first frame hit. And he can technically super off of these, but it's not very powerful. Like this super just doesn't work well in juggles because it hits multiple times, like close to the ground. So if you juggle into it, you're just not gonna get all the hits. Like that. Yeah, he's just, like, he has very strong meterless combos, and then really, really trash supers and EX moves. Like, this is pitiful. This is literally Chun-Li's Fireball from Third Strike. The EX one. And, I mean, this move is nice to have, because it's a safe on block move. But you can't combo after it. Can't combo after it. Unless you super. This super does not work in juggles at all. It doesn't work. Even if I do one of these. It just doesn't work. So what? Again, you have to land like a big juicy parry and then do one of these. Come on. There we go. And once you do that, now you have a combo. And even then, it's hard to optimize. You can do things like this if you're good. But it's like, none of the pieces quite work out the way you want them to. His extremely high damage is not consistent enough. But he is still a very strong character because he can be like here and be like, hit confirm. Oh, that was too far. Does this work? No. But he can be like here and hit confirm into a DP. Or super. And the fact that he can just cancel into this from any range and it's safe is really annoying to deal with. It's not that rewarding on hit, but it is a non-zero amount of damage, and it is basically zero risk. And he still has a fireball. It's a pretty good fireball. It's not as good as Ko's fireball, but it's still a fireball. His DP is better than Ko's. That's good. It's kind of slow. The heavy one is, but it's a lot of damage. And yeah. And his overall damage is good for the meterless, and then nothing else is what you want. But that's insane. I just did like half health for no meter. No meter, no BL counter, no weird extra fireball. Like that. But yeah, he's still very strong, just because he's fundamentally strong. He has a fireball, he has an uppercut. He does good damage from his parries. That's the big thing. If you get parried by him, he's just gonna do this. You're gonna die. And yeah. But he's not very interesting. He's very easy to play. Because he can't do anything special, he's very easy to play. Ko used to be the same but worse, but then they gave him some new stuff. So he actually has some combos. And he has a good super. He has a fireball super, and it's actually useful. He doesn't have the uppercut super. And he has this super, but the main difference is that you can actually use it in juggles now. Don't do that. And it actually works. He doesn't have the same, like, meterless big damage that Crow has, because his Tatsus don't launch. His light one doesn't even knock down, it's just +1. Although he has the heavy one, which does knock down. That's nice. And then the EX one hits crouchers and hits multiple times, is still a knockdown, but you don't get a combo off of either of them. You can't combo off of this. But he has some new strings now. So he has this one. So this is something that Crow can't do. He can't just do this and then hit confirm. Stop it. But he can't do this either. So he has this move as well. That's an overhead. That's +2 on block. I don't really know why you would do it, because just this by itself, oops, just this by itself is +6, so I don't know why you would chain it into this. You can also hit confirm it. Oh, maybe you can't. You kind of can. It's really hard, but you can do it. Guard random. Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, it's possible. It's not even hard. Oh. So yeah, and this you can't combo off of. You can't combo into anything. It doesn't work. Stop it. Not even supers. It's only +4. I think you can combo one of these, right? Nope. If you're close enough, you can do it, but if you chain into it like this, it won't work. Oh, the EX won't work. That works. But again, just doing this is much better. Also, he just has more moves that work in juggles. Like, I don't know. He's just if he lands the super in the corner, it's a big juggle, and if he lands any hit anywhere else, he can always just throw on a super at the end, and it actually gets all the hits, unlike Crow's. So I guess he relies more on meter than Crow does, but I would say overall it ends up being more consistent than Crow because of the super. It's really strong. And he can actually hit confirm from his heavies because of this, which Crow cannot do. So Crow has to like land a parry and confirm the parry and press like a heavy punch and then cancel it. But Ko can do one of these and confirm that for a combo. Whereas Crow would have to do like lights only and get no damage. I would still venture to guess that Crow is better than Ko, but not nearly as much as he was before. Alright, if no one wants to play, I'll end the stream here. There will be an update to the game soon. It'll bring buffs to Sistan, buffs to Tianyi, some changes to Wugui. I think he's a little bit, like a tiny bit nerfed, but it's mostly just changes. And more nerfs to Chada, although they say they're bug fixes. They're just nerfs. Yeah. Nothing else too major. Also a new character. There'll be a different version of Sistan. Like a happier version of Sistan. Right now we have Evil Ryu, but they're adding a Ryu. There are some other small changes they listed, but nothing important. This version of the game came out like 2 months ago. And the version before that came out like 10 years ago. So, yeah. This version of the game is new. The version before this version is extremely old. And there's going to be... We don't have a date on it yet. There's going to be an update to this game soon. Yeah, it appears to not be out yet. But it's been in arcades for a while. Yes, this game has an arcade version. The arcade version is, I think, a lot more popular than the non-arcade version, which is strange. But yeah. Update very quickly, we'll see. We'll see. It took them a couple of months to bug fix the things they wanted to bug fix, but... Yeah. We have patch notes now. Patch notes came out a couple days ago. So we'll... And it mentions the Steam version, so it'll definitely come to Steam at some point. We just don't know when. Alright, I'm gonna check lobby one more time. If there's no one, then I'll just end the stream. Yeah, there's no one. Gray means no one. What is that noise? Thanks for watching. Is it Wednesday? Yes. I'll probably stream tomorrow, but I don't know what I'll stream. If Guilty Gear Strive gets the frame data mod working, I'll probably play that. But they probably won't. Because it's been... When did Alba come out? Like a week ago. Anyway. Thanks for watching. Join on YouTube, subscribe on Twitch, Patreon, Discord. Just read the description and click all those links. See you guys next time. Bye.